They about to look at the shit that I'm on, why don't we get in topic? Crew looking like pentatonics, locked in, recording in tropics. And the East Big 3, Big Bronzy B, way good, he working on optics. Thought biz while smoking exotics, we lit, never thought about it. Cause they about to look at the shit that I'm on, why don't we get in topics? In a way back, all black, I'm talking, feeling like Shaq, I weigh my options. And the East Big 3, Big Bronzy B, way good, he working on optics. Thought biz while smoking exotics, it's saucy all the projects, it's saucy.
What's up? It's been a long time. RCR Presents MSD Sports, and we back at it in episode number 32. My name is Sam, also known as YBK. We got Mikey over here, and we got Camden over here. And let's go, Mikey, introduce yourself, Mikey, introduce yourself.
What's good, y'all? In case you forgot, it's your boy, Michael John, coming to you from the 02135. We out of Beantown. It's a little heavy in the city right now, but that's all right. Episode number 32. We back in it. MSD Sports, baby.
Yes, sir. Camden, what's up?
What's going on? You know what it is. It's your boy, Mystical Paradise, a.k.a. Camden Lee. And you know that we are back. The greatest trio ever assembled. MSD Sports. It's been a minute. You know what I mean? We've had some stuff going on. People have been doing some work. People have been doing some traveling. People are going to be doing some traveling. We actually have something coming up in the next month. You know what I mean? A little celebration on the 18th of June. So, you know what I mean? We just been trying to do our thing, trying to make it popping. But other than that, we are back. YBK.
Yes, sir.
Camden Lee, episode 32. What's going on? What are we doing?
Not gonna lie, when we did these intros, I was nervous because it was been a while. So it's good to be back. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it feels back. You know, it feels like a teleported back, but it's like, that was kind of nervous. But let's go, episode number 32, guys. Agenda. I mean, Camden said it all. It was. The catching up was part of the agenda, but I feel like Camden said it all. So we're gonna have to go right to the meat of it, everybody. We got NBA catching up to do, because the last time I remember we talked about in the podcast was when the Lakers were still in the playoffs, guys. So a lot of catching up to do in the NBA, and we're gonna talk about NBA playoff rounds, predictions, and talks, and NBA, everybody. So let's get it. So yes. So where should we start on this playoffs here?
We didn't miss too much. You know, I mean, we missed a little bit, just one round, but we're okay. Michael John, what are we thinking? Talk to me.
Well, this is where we should start off, because this is episode number 32, and who wore number 32? Mr. Irvin Magic Johnson wore number 32. So I think we should start with the Lake Show, because we'll move forward from there. Let's move chronologically after that.
Yes.
I got some questions to lay out. I got some thoughts to lay out. I thought Wolves in 7. I mean, they went down bad a little bit.
You know,
talk to me.
Listen, you know, our unfortunately the Los Angeles Lakers lost to the Minnesota Timberwolves in the series 4-1, gentlemen's sweep. I mean, you know, I think there was a couple things that we really saw come about in terms of this series. One, we saw that Luka is a defensive liability at the end of the day. He's an offensive scorer, but defense is his thing. Second, the Lakers need a big man. We've been trying to figure it out. We had a trade in the middle of the season. We thought some things were gonna move forward. But I think during the playoffs it really showed its ugly head about the fact that we didn't have a big man. And three, one of the things about this MSD crew is that we have a plethora of ideas, of understandings, of knowledge. YBK is one of the greatest GMs when it comes to, you know what I mean? He ain't a GM, but it's GM YBK.
Thank you.
I felt as though, you know what I mean, the lack of experience with JJ was something that was a little bit of an issue. Not that, you know what I mean, he wasn't doing his thing, and not that things weren't great, but I felt like, GM Sam, I felt like we were preparing to see what happens this year. We had a massive trade in the middle of the season, and I think the things that we needed at the beginning of the year really showed during the playoffs. What are we thinking? Talk to me.
When the trade first happened, the Luka AD trade, I was very excited because Luka is 25. He's coming off of finals. He's superstar. Luka, he was hurt though, but he's always gonna be the superstar Luka we always knew about. But I like how you said, David, on how you pointed out on this Lakers team in this playoffs against the Timberwolves. We were just outmatched on the big men. Rudy Gobert just destroyed us in this playoffs, like, entirely. We were outsized. I mean, man, how do you lose shooting Minnesota shooting 7 for 47 threes? How do you lose that kind of game? You know what I mean? And
Crazy.
for me, I like how you said the whole season out and reflecting on the whole season and kind of combining the playoffs. LeBron was very underwhelming this season. I know he's old. Maybe it's the time where you know how in the basketball reference page in the stats when you see like the legendary people who played, you see where it's like, okay, this is the point where he kind of declined. And excuse me. And I feel like LeBron, we didn't see that playoff Bron that me and David was always talking about when playoffs started.
100%.
So that's what those two things for me were kind of like the two key factors because I feel like Luka, he did have his like stomach flu. He didn't feel well. We saw it in Game 3. So I feel like I can't really blame Luka here, but those two I think are bigger than the Luka mistakes and the Luka errors. And that's how I thought about the Lakers.
Well, big question here. The JJ Redick not being ready, I mean, does that all just fall on the one game where he played them the whole second half? Because I felt like that was a big moment, right? Where, and I have thoughts about coaching and playoffs and experience. I'm going to rehash this later. But I feel like that was the one defining moment to me of JJ Redick's playoff coaching that really made him look like maybe not ready for the moment. If it worked, you would have been a mad genius, but it didn't.
I think, yeah, I mean, I think it's tough. I think you're between a rock and a hard place because you have older players or six superstar like Luka, an older player like LeBron. You don't have the necessary tools that you need in order to win, like a center, right? And so you're saying, listen, I'm going to play my best, my best players, and they happen to be 5 or 6 guys. There's another team that we'll reference later on the Eastern Conference that had success with this situation with a coach that has a ton of experience. So I think, the coach obviously is a little older and things like that. So I think JJ did take a book a little bit more from an older coach, kind of like what an older coach would do, a more seasoned veteran coach would do. I don't necessarily think he played to his personnel. And I think that's where I think with this new shooting, and we're going to talk about a team a little bit later that's in the Western Conference Finals, where they kind of understand the youthfulness is important.
Yeah.
I feel like
Don't y'all think? Sorry, Sam.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, but don't y'all think it's tough when, like, I've been saying to y'all for a while, Lakers peaked too early. That's what it felt like. It felt like they peaked early, and when they started slowing down, it just happened to be the time that the team on the opposite side was peaking. So I don't think it's a failure for the Lakers' year. My personal opinion is I felt like the Lakers had a great year. I felt like they overperformed. 50 games that they won, to me, they performed above where I believed they were going to end up. So I don't know what y'all thought overall, but I think it's a pretty good success.
I mean, I think YBK and I both felt like with the Luka trade, Luka and LeBron, and the way that LeBron elevates to, playoff LeBron, we thought we were going to be in a Western Conference Final. Well, I don't think we thought we were going to necessarily win, but we at least thought, hey, this was going to be a situation where we got through the first round. I think the biggest thing, and YBK, we were talking about it. LeBron got hurt a couple of weeks before the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I said, let that man sit. But because of the seeding, he ended up having to play a little bit.
Like a week earlier.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of things. USA basketball and the Olympics doesn't help. You'll see that later in the episode as we talk about some of the star players and how that situation unfolded. So I think it was, there's a lot of things going against us. But, LeBron is definitely aging. That's one thing we do know. He was not able to activate playoff LeBron this year.
Yeah, I feel like back to the JJ Redick question, Mikey. When he said like it wasn't planned, I kind of blamed that on JJ Redick. It's like in a playoff situation, how do you not plan in a situation where you should kind of image on kind of like expect this to happen or kind of like in situations like this. And I feel like starting your whole lineup in the second half kind of means like, all right, the rest of y'all 8 players are kind of trash. We don't see you as players here. We're playing our main guys because we need them right now. But I feel like maybe you could have maybe taken out Luka, Bron for maybe a little bit, right? Just maybe them two, not like the others. Like you're already outside, so I feel like all you need right now is resting your key players. And I feel like what David's saying was too, like lack of experience in playoffs and JJ Redick's kind of a perspective. So, yeah, I feel like this is on that second half. Like, starting those 5 players is definitely on JJ Redick for sure.
It happens. I think he's learning, and I think as he progresses, you know what I mean, he'll learn to be a better coach. He'll have the necessary tools in order for him to, you know, the center. I think the center is a big deal. Not having a true power forward is dominant, big deal. You know what I mean? I think also one thing that we need to talk about, and to our viewers, Austin Reeves did not show up at all.
He didn't.
And where was Dalton Connect? So, you know what I mean, hopefully with the year progressing, guys will get a little bit more. We'll see some offseason moves. See what happens.
Yeah.
One thing I do want to highlight, though, is Anthony Edwards. I think he has been going through this gauntlet, and the fact that he was able to take a little stone, infinity stone, from LeBron and Luka, even though I think there's a little asterisk around there because of the sickness, and he's 40 something. I got a shout out to my boy because he's been cooking. He's been cooking recently.
I think Ant's been cooking, and maybe we can segue to the Timberwolves since that's who played the Lakers.
Yeah.
I feel like he gets so much extra credit on that team. I watched a lot of those games. Anthony Edwards had one nasty game. It's like Jamal Murray in a round. He had one Jamal Murray playoff game, a 40-plus game. He ain't putting up no triple-doubles. Bro, Julius Randle, let's talk about Julius Randle. If we about to talk about, I feel like this, right? So Minnesota defeats the Lakers and moves on. And can we talk semis now? Are we cool
Yes, we
to
can.
like
Before we go to the semis, I want to shout out one team.
Please.
That the Timberwolves beat to right now. Go to face the Thunder. The Warriors beating the Rockets. I really want to give a shout out because injuries came at the wrong time. Curry coming down in the Timberwolves was deadly for them. But man, for them to beat the second seed young fast Rockets, the veterans taking the games, I give a big shout out to the Curry and Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green.
We all saw it coming though.
Yeah,
we
did.
We all picked the Warriors. So, I mean, I'm not very surprised, but I agree with you that they deserve some credit as being like an older, less talented team in a way and still finding a way to win.
Facts.
We'll talk. We'll come back real quick with the Rockets because I do have a question that I want to pose, but I definitely want to talk about the Timberwolves for as we continue and talk about Ant. I mean, yes, Michael John, you're 100% right. I do not believe that Ant had a great series during these last play, especially when it came to Lakers. However, I think he was a great closer. And I think that's really what mattered during the fourth quarter because I felt like guys couldn't close. And even as we move on to the next series, I think that was extremely important as well. He was able to close. It's like kind of like Michael. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that Michael wasn't great through 3 quarters, but you knew if the Chicago Bulls were down 6 in the fourth quarter, you could shut the TV off. Michael was gonna make sure they wasn't losing. Ant's starting to kind of get to that place, if that makes sense. So
I agree. I feel like you're right. The ball is in his hands the most, so I will give him the credit that like he's up there. It's not Jalen Brunson level of like fourth quarter, just put the ball in his hands and let him cook, but they give him the freedom to cook. So he deserves respect for sure.
But dude, talk to me about Julius Randle. You said you was watching the games. How did you feel about him coming back to the Lakers, which we traded him a number of years ago during the AD situation? I was hurt when I was seeing that boy ball the way he was balling. Hurting.
I think Randall has been amazing. I think we could talk about the success that it's been on both sides. That trade has been vindicated for all of the haters and people questioning Julius Randle and Cat swap. It's a success for both. Because if you see, I feel like Randle has ball handling skills different than Cat does. Because he can actually take the rock. He can get a little triple-double, how we saw him coming up with Randle with a triple-double in clutch playoff moments, right? Putting the ball in his hand, not forcing the scoring, and being the number 2 guy, being the facilitator, being a veteran presence. I really respected it, actually.
Yeah. I mean, I always felt like young Randall, he was a little skinnier back then when he came with the Lakers. I never wanted to get rid of him. I always felt like he was a baller. I think being a journeyman, again, he was in New York. Now he's in Minnesota. The boy knows how to play ball anywhere in the world. He's just a true baller. So I really attribute a lot of their success to him with Ant at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely Julius Randle. he just fits the system better in the Timberwolves than when he was in the Knicks. And I feel like what we just said, like the trade helps both teams. It feels like, you know. And talking about Randall, man, this man, lights out shooter. I mean, like, damn, like I feel like without Randall, they ain't there. Like that was the difference that we just talked about that Ant needed. Man, you see, against the Warriors, this man dropped 29, 31, 24, 24, 18. Like, I mean, like, that's crazy. This guy's balling. This guy's balling. Not saying that Ant's not balling. Ant's still, he's still the face of his team. But man,
think about
Julius
also
Randle.
they got DiVincenzo out that trade too.
And Jalen McDaniel. You're right.
Think about that. That's a great piece on that team because 3-and-D, you need those sort of players that are veteran presence, got a cool head, and have a little bit of depth because having a little bit of depth is important, and I think it's going to be important in the conference finals. But I mean, to look at how the Timberwolves Warriors series went, because that was who the Wolves moved on to play, right? After the Wolves beat the Lakers and the Warriors beat the Rockets, I feel like this series is overshadowed a bit by Curry's injury.
100%.
Right? Because it felt like you have to take care of business. They had to take care of business.
They have to, yeah.
I felt like Curry's injury really almost dampened the series at the end of the day. You knew as soon as he went down, there was kind of no chance when it came to Warriors. I mean, I appreciate Jimmy, and I do definitely want to say Kuminga had his moments. You know what I mean? But I just felt as though, when it came to those two twin towers with Randall and Gobert, I think it was too much for, the small ball Warriors, especially without the GOAT. You know what I mean? The greatest shooter of all time, Steph Curry.
I mean, even like the Twin Towers, like Jaden McDaniels having himself a great playoff run as well, because he's a long, lengthy guy, and we even saw David in the Lakers series. Like he was just so impactful for that team, and he making these threes. Like I'm like, damn, like what do you think you are? The kind of like things I would say, like because I'll be shocked, like wow, Jaden McDaniels is like he's shooting him.
He a little KD finishing. That's what he looked like.
Yeah.
A smaller version, like a little bit smaller version of KD, but I'm like, oh, he be finishing at the rim, but he lengthy.
Yeah, I remember last year when we got Jaden McDaniels. We're good. We got Jaden McDaniels over here.
That's real.
I feel like the positions of each Timberwolves team, like they kind of know their part. Like even like Nas Reed coming from the bench, like shooting them threes out of nowhere. Talked about DiVincenzo coming in, like they all know what they're doing, and they all like kind of like are proud of what they're doing too. So it's like I feel like it's working on all cylinders for the Timberwolves right now.
They didn't need another big dude like Cat. Like Nas Reed is nasty.
Yeah,
You got Gobert.
yeah.
You got Jaden McDaniels and Randall ain't small.
Yeah, Randall's power forward. Yeah,
Exactly. And then you got a little Mike Conley presence in there, right? Too. So it's like
I have a
it's
big
crazy.
question.
I forget that he's in that team.
Yes,
Mike
yes.
Conley.
I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
In an era, right, where a lot of these teams are going more small ball or medium-sized players, like we have with Houston and the Oklahoma City Thunder, do you think the big man is still vital to an organization winning a championship? Last year it was Porzingis. This year we got a couple guys in the Tim fold. Do we feel like the big man still means we're winning an NBA championship?
Twin Towers, right? I mean, if you look at OKC too, they have Chet Holmgren and Hartenstein.
Yep.
And it's interesting when you put both of them on the floor. The counter to the big guys is the small ball, but if the big guys is athletic and can stretch, then that's nasty.
Yeah.
That's an issue. Porzingis, you talked about last year. Yeah, where was he this year? It's exactly what led to, it had a huge effect. So we'll get to that, but I think it was a perfect analogy that you made.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
Yeah, I was just saying, I feel like, the center is definitely a pivotal part in your team. Like, as we just talked about, like, look at the Lakers. Like, I thought they had enough firepower, but they were just so outsized, and they just died in the big man area. But that's what we were missing. And I feel like even Luka, when he was in the Mavs, for him to go to the finals, they had some good big men. Like, Dirk Lively is definitely not a Jackson Hayes, right? it's like a different, way different comparisons. You can't compare those two.
They
big
traded
men.
for Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington too.
Yeah.
So think about that. It's like how Luca is less of a liability when you got a big ass team and you got Kyrie as well there.
Yeah.
It's not you're not as much as of a liability. So I Rudy Gobert,
Yep.
who's more in the paint protector, roll to the rim, and then you got Naz Reid, go out and shoot the corner three, dish and pick and fade, not just pick and roll. So
I feel like my bad. I just wanted to mention like the four teams have like kind of twin tower kind of vibe. We talked about Chet and Hartenstein and the Thunder, Randall and Gobert, and Pacers they got Siakam and Miles Turner, and the Knicks you got Cat and Mitchell Robinson. It's like wow, it's like they all have like that kind of similar vibe going on.
Well, it's like it's weird because I'm thinking, and I mean, as we're talking, as we're rolling live, I'm thinking about I mean the Anthony Davis and the Dwight Howard with the JaVale McGee, and then we think about the Joker, you know what I mean, with
Aaron Gordon,
Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr. Then I think about Porzingis, Al Horford. And you know what I mean, even Williams, who was doing something before they ended up trading him and getting Porzingis. So it's like, all these guys, I mean, a lot of these teams over the last couple of years, who have won championships, they've had about 3 guys or 2.5 guys that have been over that 6'10". You know what I'm saying? Either that 6'10", 6'9", 7 feet who could really do damage. What I mean? At some point in the in the paint. So. It's interesting. It's interesting. Guys, how do we feel, right? How do we feel about this Thunder situation? How are we feeling about OKC right now? You know what I mean? They were able to beat the Grizzlies. They swept them. That wasn't that big of a situation. And then they moved on to another series that was a little bit more difficult. Do we feel like, my boy, SGA has kind of shown that he has some playoff understanding, or through that first, and second round, or what's up? Are we still still seems a little up in the air?
I think the jury's still out. That's my opinion. I watched and I see the headlines like SGA drops 30. Okay, 9 of 24 shooting on some Jason Tatum BS. I'm not particularly impressed right here. Not saying that he can't finish and can't win. Listen, 7 games with the champion from 2 years before, no shame. That's what I think. There's no shame in that. Honestly, Denver should have won that series.
Yeah, I agree.
They had a chance. So, I don't know. I don't know if SGA can carry him himself. I think he needs a little help because the games they win, Jalen Williams is playing Robin. Yeah. He's playing Robin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Batman can't do it all by himself.
Not at all. Not at all. And just for the viewers, just to let you guys know, the Oklahoma City Thunder beat the Denver Nuggets in a game 7. It was a 7-game series. We all felt that, it was going to be a long series. We felt like, the Denver Nuggets were a little at a disadvantage without an actual head coach. They had an interim head coach. But, yeah, I feel kind of like, bro, you go 7 games with a team that fired his coach 3 weeks before the playoffs started. I think it doesn't make me feel great. I don't know if it's just me. I mean, 6 games because you got a former MVP, but 7 games, especially with Aaron Gordon being hurt. If this man was 100%, I don't feel like y'all gonna win that series. I don't know.
First, I just want to say sorry to the Thunder Nation, Thunder fans, because I said from the beginning of the playoffs, Thunder going to lose in round 2. But big props to them. But I totally agree with what you said, David. If Nuggets were healthy, everybody was healthy in Game 7, Thunder would have lost this Game 7 series.
No problem.
Yeah, there's no way, because I feel like. Well, it is too that everyone does have an off day, And like, do you see Michael Porter Jr., you see Jamal Murray, you even see Jokic's numbers very like, it's very low, Braun
Home
was like the
team,
second
bro.
place, right? You know what I mean?
And home team crowd, you know what I mean? It's game 7 in at home, so it's like you did earn the first seed, but I'm not sure like it's impressive. Like is a blowout win, but it feels like Denver had already given everything they had. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They let a couple games slip that they should have won. So are they gonna is the Timberwolves gonna have a couple games that they should win and don't let slip is the question.
It's the thing for me, you know what I mean? And we talk about these two teams, one team that's in the Western Conference Finals and another team that came out in the first round. We have the Thunder and we have the Rockets. Both young, energetic, able to move the ball, has some understanding with coaching, but we have one coach that hasn't been able to get the job done. That's why he's out in the first round. And we have another coach that's more of a legacy coach that understands the system and understands what's going on, but he doesn't have a lot of experience. I think due to the fact that I feel like the Thunder are a little bit older and longer in the tooth when it comes to players, and Jalen Williams has come about to be an actual bona fide NBA superstar or NBA superstar 2, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling like it's not going to be the SGA party. I'm thinking if they're gonna win and they're gonna make it to the finals and even take over in the finals, I think it's gonna be like a Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. Yes, SGA is gonna be the face of the team, but I think Jalen Williams is gonna be the reason why if they do it. He's just balling right now.
The defense too. They're a defensive team. Their defensive intensity is crazy sometimes. Like I watched some parts like where they go on a run, they are clamping. It's like they are running the floor clamping, bro. And they got a lot of role players who be hitting shots. Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins, like Caruso out there.
Caruso. Guys, Caruso. Wow.
I think Caruso for Giddey was good looking at it in hindsight because they didn't need like a ball facilitator and like an offensive player. They needed someone gritty who could like hit some threes if you need a couple threes, but really could shore up the defense. And I feel like that's why they won the series because they were able to make a couple more stops, whereas Denver was like, we're not gonna clamp you and make stops. We're gonna just make like a clutch. We're gonna have clutch offensive possessions because we have good synergy,
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that was a tough series, and I feel like Joker too. They not like wasted a year with him, but doesn't it feel like this is like the prime of a crazy career, and it feels like, okay, like maybe we could have gotten more than one championship out of it,
I mean, I think it's tough, right? Because you have an MVP that plays unbelievable, right? The guy is just like, but like it's almost like a better like not Dwight Howard, but almost when Dwight Howard was winning all those defensive player of the years and like going crazy and doing all that stuff. It's like he doesn't have enough of a supporting cast, in my opinion. You know what I mean? That's really going to elevate him for longevity. Murray's a little older, longer in the tooth, also coming from injury. You got guys like Gordon as well as Michael Porter Jr., also guys who are suffer from injury. The injury prone. It's an injury prone team. So it's tough. You know what I mean? We have one superstar who wants to stay in his place, like in Colorado. We have another superstar in Milwaukee who's like, get me the heck out of there. So,
what was good with y'all boy MPJ? Because I've been telling y'all, like how I've been saying, like I'm off the MPJ train. I've been off it, bro. What's good with him? Because Aaron Gordon has been clutch this postseason. Was clutch because he's out now. That boy really worked on his jump shot, and he was clutch 2 buzzer beaters, bro. He hit 2 of them, or not buzzer beaters, but 2 game win. Like we gotta put some respect on Aaron Gordon's name, I think, because I think he might be going to like he could go to a contender team and automatically be a difference maker on like a real championship unit. So I want to just put some respect on Aaron Gordon's name and say like I was surprised with how well he played this playoffs.
Listen, MPJ at the end of the day has been, Michael Porter Jr. has been dealing with those back injuries for God knows how long. And I think this was just one of those years where it just flared up. And, the Denver Nuggets have played a lot of basketball over the last couple of years. I don't think that he has necessarily taken care of his body the way that he should. And I think Aaron Gordon, who was playing second fiddle a couple of years ago, has really came into his own and really shown, okay, I can do quality minutes. I can play these things. But then we see again, Muggs can't last. Muggs be driving 60 on the freeway, chilling. As soon as they pop it, say, I need you to drive 90 for at least a couple hours, pop a tire. Make it make sense to me.
I feel like definitely a big shout out to Aaron Gordon. I mean, like, he definitely proved and showed himself. I mean, look at that clutch situation, that shot he made to win that game. But it's very interesting in how you say, like, back injury to MPJ, because, like, the ages are kind of the other way around. Aaron Gordon's older by almost, like, 5 years than MPJ. MPJ is only 26 years old, making $35 million, guys.
Crazy.
And for him to perform that low... And like, come on, like that money is like you're not equaling the value of your salary here, MPJ. And I feel like the Nuggets are kind of trapped because he has 2 more years with them, and he's getting paid that much money too. But Aaron Gordon, though, for that 31-year-old, damn, what a season you had, and big props to you.
I know I don't usually play GM. I usually let that with the GMYBK, but I would have shipped MPJ after that championship. As soon as they won, I got top dollar for that mug, I would have sent him on his merry way. Because at least I would have been a little bit younger, keep some younger studs around Joker, so that, we could keep running it back. But
yeah, I feel like he signed the extension after they won, I think. Yeah. So that's the thing. When all vibes were high, they just signed MPJ for a big max contract, yeah.
He's got talent, but I feel like the story of this series to me was similar to last year for the Denver Nuggets. They ran out of gas. They went 7 games with the Clippers. Oklahoma City's the youngest team in the league by average age, and they swept.
They were resting,
and that was the biggest difference in my opinion.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I mean I have no more thoughts on that series, and that's the West that we talked about for the semis there. I mean, unless y'all have some closing thoughts, I'd love to hear. I'd love to talk about Cleveland and Indiana first. We'll leave New York, Boston for last.
I just want to say it's very interesting because OKC sweeps the Memphis Grizzlies game 1, has that whole time resting, whereas Denver paddles Clippers to game 7. But wow, big props to Jokic. Please come to the Lakers. Thank you.
Tripping.
But yeah, I'm ready to go to the East.
Let's get it. Listen, there's some big money.
East was crazy, guys.
Yo, bro, when I tell you, I loved watching the Eastern Conference games. The West was kind of underwhelming to me. I felt like even watching a little bit of this game before we got on, on the pod today, I was like, it was getting kind of slow. The Eastern Conference, bro, all them games was lit. And we did all right. We kind of knew what was going to happen depending on the situation, you know what I'm saying? But we got to start with Cleveland. Listen, Mike, you was talking about Cleveland all year. You want to start it off? Well, how you feel about this series? It was a quick sweep, nothing crazy against the Heat. You know that Heat.
5 games. Oh, for the first round.
Yeah. First series for Cleveland. Listen, you know the Heat of bums. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, nothing special there. There was nothing special about that. They just did their business.
Then we what? Then we're going for the first round. Just let them know. Then we had a nice little gentleman sweep. Again, you know what I mean? The Pacers versus the Bucks.
Oh yeah.
Do we want to? Can we talk about something real quick?
That was a close game, though, guys.
It was some close games. What's going on with Tyrese Halliburton?
Y'all tell me. Run the tapes, y'all. Run the tapes of me talking about Hallie all year, right? Please.
Listen. Number one, shout out to my boy, because if it's snowing, I'm going. Tyrese Halliburton.
Wow.
My boy was going crazy.
Crazy.
In this conference, we have a cameo.
Hey, we have a visitor.
Hey,
What's up?
um,
She heard Hallie. She heard Hallie. She had to come running, bro.
She was
I
like, bro,
told y'all.
I hear his
told
name.
y'all. I've been telling y'all,
she
bro.
heard Hallie. She said, gotta keep it pushing. Here's the thing. Listen, Tyrese Halliburton's daddy comes on the court when they beat Giannis in the gentleman's sweep, coming up to that mug like, boy, don't be talking about my son and da 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 da. Bro, how y'all feel about this man getting banned? Can't see his son playing for the whole playoffs.
I think it was just a smart thing to do. I think they want to avoid the drama. And Giannis was crashing out. Remember we was talking about how Giannis was crashing out
Yo,
at the end of that,
yes,
bro?
he was.
He really was crashing. I would crash out too if I was that nice and that.
He dropped almost triple-double that game. I think he did almost, and then he was like, what the heck?
It's like, you know who I am? That's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cavaliers, not the Cavaliers, what am I saying? Oh, yeah, that Pacers series, gentleman's sweep, very close game in game 5, but yeah, Pacers were a better team.
We wasn't that surprised. I think, Sam, you might have
I said Bucks. I said Bucks.
7.
And say, yeah.
I felt like you knew it was close. And me and David, I think you went with, I think I did Pacers in 6 or something. I didn't think it would be 5. I thought they would win for sure.
Yeah, I think we both said because we felt that because Dame's not playing, that we were going to pick Tyrese. That was that was the biggest thing. And I just felt like.
I think so, yep.
Yeah, with Dame being hurt, I felt like it was something where I wasn't too worried about it at the end of the day. Knicks and Pistons was not interesting. Was that not a little fun? Seen a little bit of that. I think Detroit kind of did their thing a little bit. I mean, we talked about Detroit being a young team, kind of getting their footing. But dude, Jalen Brunson is nice, man. Is it just me? Is it just me, or is this little nigga kind of nice?
I feel like he's like SGA in the East, just a little. He's shiftier, but he a free throw merchant for sure. But it works at the end of the game. It really works, and he can hit his threes in the fourth quarter.
I'm shocked.
The thing I gotta say about this man is he looked little, like he looked like a tiny person. But he a big little dude. Like you know what I'm saying? He got a little.
He's tough.
He's tough. He got a little muscle on him.
Mm-hmm.
I seen his daddy. I was like, okay, I can see you little big body, little brother. Like, you know what I'm saying? I seen him back a couple brothers down. I said, okay. I didn't think he was that big or played that big. You know what I'm saying? Boy got a little dog in him. I'm with that.
I like that. And he is clutch. He is Mr. Clutch.
Yes,
we might have to reshoot that other video, Mikey, because we said Jalen Brunson 4 or like something like that. We gotta give him to like 2 or something like that.
I think we did.
Yeah, I mean that man, he's magical, guys. Fourth quarter, he just lights turns on. Like his teammates want the ball, and he's like, nah.
I got it.
He's like, nah.
He hasn't really had to make I feel like too many game winners in this playoffs, but in the fourth quarter in general, he's just been a baller.
Mm-hmm. So
I feel like. He did have one good shot. He hit a nasty shot in OT in the Celtics in one game, but we'll get to that one. I want to save that series.
We'll get to that in a second.
We'll save that one for last. I mean,
Listen,
Celtics ran through Magic. I think if Celtics had already finished the Magic off when we talked.
Yeah,
last,
they did. They did.
I mean, I
they were
felt
waiting.
like that was interesting. You know, I like the Magic. They're not quite ready yet. You know. But the Pistons, I think, is the team to circle, as even though they lost the first round, I see them as having a lot of opportunity to grow. So
facts.
They right there.
It's good for Cade, you know what I'm saying? Like let him exactly what you said, let him grow. Let him just stay there. Like they had a taste of it and then, let him grow. Add a piece, maybe 2. We'll see them next year in playoffs for sure, maybe in a higher seeding.
So we get to the semis in the East, right? I feel like this was one of the most interesting situations that I've seen. The Cavs played a pace.
Upset. Woo!
What happened? What happened? Michael John, you was talking Cleveland all year. What happened to Cleveland?
Yeah, we was talking Cleveland. We kept saying, though, that Cleveland's nasty right now, and we're surprised, but we need to see them do it in the playoffs.
We said.
And that's exactly what happened. I think the problem is that you ran the Donovan Mitchell train as far as you could ride it.
They did.
He can't do it by himself, and they perform better when they move in the ball, when the team is moving. transition ball, playing their defense, and the Pacers are unironically the highest paced basketball team. If you watch them, the
they're
way they be
quick.
moving the ball, that's what I feel like what stifled them. But the Pacers have had some magic. Cause think about round one versus the Bucks. A couple of those games, like where if you look at the probability, ESPN win probability 99.8 Bucks, win probability 99.8 Cleveland, up by like 7-8 points with like we're talking like 50 seconds left in the game, less than a minute left in the game. Both series they pulled some craziness out, and I feel like that was the biggest difference to me for the Pacers. Like in the playoffs, if you're a good team, you finna win one or two outright, wire to wire. I'm gonna win one or two games. It's those close ones. How is it gonna fall? Is who's gonna decide who's gonna win? And I feel like the Pacers is on something right now.
I think Tyrese, is similar to a situation like in the West that we talked about with Anthony Edwards. I think he's going through a couple of these dudes. He's seeing, okay, I can get through these guys. I can get through these coaching. Because even with the coaches that he had to play over during this time, they were decent coaches. They weren't no bums. They weren't no scrubs. And they were really trying to design him not to be effective. And he still was effective. And he was still very efficient. So I think at the end of the day, we got to start looking at Tyrese as a little bit more than what we thought. There's a reason why he was on the Olympic basketball team. Now, did he play a lot of minutes? No. But there's a reason why that sucker was playing and that man was there. So there's got to be some type of game, as unorthodox as it may be, that shows, he got a little greatness in him. Because this playoffs really showed, I was like, oh.
Yeah. Can I tell y'all something? Yeah. Remind me of like Patrick Mahomes in his first 2 years was putting up crazy 4,550 yards, 50 touchdowns. Okay, cool. Allie could average 25 and 12, or he could average 19 and 9 and be a better game facilitator, and y'all are actually winning. Like, you don't need, for me, it's like it don't have to always be the flashy numbers. Yeah. And I think that's what people was looking for, and why this year somehow Halliburton is getting voted by all the NBA players as the most overrated player. Yeah. That's cool. But when push comes to shove, who hit these game winners and who's cooking at the end of the games right now and who's in the conference finals 2 years in a row? It's like, I feel like it can't be a fluke no more now that it's twice.
No.
Right? So, but my question is, did y'all see Cleveland going down in 5? That's my thing. I thought Cleveland would lose this series. To be honest with you, I really did think Cleveland was going to lose this series. I thought Indiana in 6 or 7 was more likely. I didn't see Cleveland going down like that. I thought they might have a little more. Darius Garland and Evan Mobley, where Jared Allen, where was they at?
Well, I think, I message you guys, we have our little group chat that we always, even though we might not be podding all the time and dropping episodes daily, things like that, we still talk almost all the time. So the MSD crew, we're always in cahoots. But I remember texting you guys being like, yo, Cleveland's hurt. Some of these boys ain't able to play. They're not able to muster up their strength. And I felt like what we talked about all season, Cleveland was a regular season team. They look like Peyton Manning with the Indianapolis Colts. During the regular season, unbeatable. During the playoffs, man, not about it. So I think there's a combination of two things. Tyrese played well. Cleveland had a little bit of injury. Like you said, Michael John, earlier, teams peak coming into the playoffs. Teams get hurt coming into the playoffs. You can't come into the playoffs limping. And, it made a big difference.
They played too hard in the regular season.
Yeah. Bro, you don't need a number 1 seed. It's not that serious.
Yeah, you just got to get in. Look at the Timberwolves. They're 6th seed.
Chilling.
Just get in.
Chilling. So,
I feel like they really underperformed. Like I felt like Evan Mobley, Jared Allen should have. I maybe wanted more from them.
I wanted more, but I knew I wasn't gonna get it.
Yeah, it's
you know
tough.
what I'm saying? I knew. It's like listen. I was like, I'm gonna try to pull up to the casino, and win a couple bands, but I only bring $30 with me. You know what I'm saying? What am I supposed to do with that? I can't turn 30 to 30,000. I can maybe turn 30 to 100. So I think they just came in and they wasn't really putting their big chips down. They was like, oh,
Yeah.
we got the regular season, we did our thing. Then guys, were playing lackadaisical. They had enough time to rest, so it wasn't an issue with that. So,
Facts.
but I think at the end of the day, you guys shout out to Indiana, Rick Carlisle coming from the West, now coming to the East, being that type of coach, being able to really coach up Tyrese. He left Luka for Tyrese at the end of the day. So, it kind of it's kind of showing two finals, conference finals. But I think that the biggest reason why we're here, okay, other than, our Lakers with me and YBK, is the former NBA champions, the Boston Celtics, went against the New York Knicks. And when I tell you, I felt like this is something. There was a lot of storylines, okay? Because us being, Michael John and myself being from Massachusetts, we understand New York, but there's a little bit of a rivalry in all areas.
Yeah.
And we love YBK, even though he's from New York. That's why we got a little brotherhood, East Coast side. But that doesn't mean that we don't have our differences. Michael John, do you want to talk about this series? If you had to sum it up in 2 words, what would be your kind of affirmation or situation when it came to the situation?
Well, for one, the overarching feeling after this series as a Celtics fan is like heartbreak. Not because of losing the series, like that's fine. You can't win a championship every year. And we've been successful for a long time. It feels weird not being in the conference finals because we've been there like 6 out of 8 years. So it's like, wait, we're not in the conference finals. I think really this series is overshadowed by Jason Tatum tearing his Achilles. That's the biggest. That's one. That's Tatum. We talked about in our bench cut start, right? Start bench cut. Tatum, Jokic, SGA.
Oh, yeah, SGA, yeah.
We was talking about health and how that's important in Tatum, and what do you know? That's like very sad at this point in his career. It's a really that's for one. 2, this series was lost because the Celtics reverted to not the Celtics of last year, but years past. Giving up 2 20-point leads in game 1 and 2 when you're at home, it's just you ain't gonna come back from that. They probably would have won the series even with Jason Tatum's injury if they win one of those 2 games, or if they win both for sure.
Yep, definitely.
It's the old Celtics. That's what it was. I think this Celtics team was a bit beat up. I think that this was the lingering effects of a long season last year where everyone poured their whole heart into it, right? Hauser's twisting his ankle in the first round, barely has any minutes, can't hit shots when he comes in. Porzingis has lingering COVID, it turns out. That's what it's been this whole year. That's what Brad Stevens said. Lingering virus or whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever they call it. Because that boy looked terrible this postseason. Terrible. Al Horford's getting old. Jaylen Brown, it turns out the report comes out, he's been playing with a partially torn meniscus. That's why he was getting those injections in his knee. When we was reading those reports in March about him getting injections in his knee and the knee beat up. They was out of gas. You know what I mean? So on the flip side, man, the series should be big respect to the Knicks for all of they've been spending like crazy, bro. They traded 5 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges and then traded Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo for Cat. But it's working. It's working, bro. So, I mean, man, heartbreak as a Celtics fan, for sure. Tatum. So with Tatum, I don't even care that we lost the series as much as I feel like, man, Tatum all next year is crazy. I mean,
YBK, what are you feeling about this?
This series, like what you said, Boston, New York, the biggest rivalry of all sports. All starts from even I feel like even football too. Anything, any cylinder. I feel like, but in this Knicks Celtics series, man, watching the Knicks win 2 away was crazy. And two things in this series, I can keep it short real quick for me here. Knicks defense was very impressive for me on how they were covering up each other, which was very impressive. And one player, we talked about Cat, but Mitchell Robinson. Man, good for him. I mean, he was injury prone for like the last 2-3 years. Backup center for Hartenstein last year. You know what I mean? Kind of proved and kind of shined when opportunities risen. And I feel like those two things for me was very impressive for the Knicks guys. I feel like this is impressive, guys. You saw how New York was turned up like Philly won a Super Bowl. I was like, wow, we've never seen this. I've never seen this before in my life, almost. But yeah, props to them.
I think coming off of last year, I think you guys needed a victory, and I think you caught the Celtics at the right time, right place, right time. I think if we played Cleveland, it'd have been a very different situation. We'd be in conference finals, but because we played the Knicks. Jalen Brunson taking a pay cut so that he's able to do all of this facilitating and getting his players on on this team. I think it was a big deal. I will say this. I felt as though Coach Mazzulla for the Celtics, didn't really show his versatility. I felt as though over the last 2 years, he's been relying on the same guys, and instead of kind of earlier, even in the season or even early in the playoffs, instead of kind of letting the younger guys have a situation or have a moment, I think he relied too much heavily on his core 6 or core 7. And I think, it kind of reared its ugly head, especially when you're playing a team that's coached by Tom Thibodeau. You know what I mean? A guy who plays his guys hard. And these guys are coached well, knows defense, knows formations, all that good stuff. And then 2, just with the loss of Tatum, I think it was really just a debilitating situation for everybody. So,
yeah, can I tell you 2 moments that stand out for me from Joe Mazzulla? That's a learning moment. Game 1, 4th quarter. Bleeding, hemorrhaging, just throwing iso ball 3s up, bro. I know it's like, this is what's got us here. This is what's got us here. Brother, call a timeout, man. All you got to do is call a timeout, okay? We get it into overtime. They draw up this play where it's like, what are we drawing up for Tatum here? Or what are we drawing up for Brown here? Like, it's just like, I'm not sure what these plays are, right? Okay, game 2. They try to run that same play twice.
Right, twice. Yeah.
The one where Tatum was racing down the court. Remember, he at the end of the game, Tatum does a little step, blows right by Mitchell Robinson for the dunk, and Mazzulla says after the game, we tried running the same play again because it just worked. Like, well, bro, it's not like football. You know what I mean? I ran for a 2-yard first down pickup. I'm going to run for a 2-yard first round pickup again. It's different. You know what I mean? So I felt like those were 2 plays. And not only that, we didn't call a timeout for the last shot attempt in game 2. We had a timeout. We could have called a timeout off of that one, set up a play, let someone run it. That's the difference to me. I felt like last year we saw that a little bit when it was close games in the conference finals versus Indiana. We called a little timeout. We ran the play. Even though it was a contested shot, you get a second to take a breath. I don't know, man. So I like Coach Mazzulla too. Deadpan. I like he's young. I like his attitude. I do think that Tom Thibodeau, who was an assistant coach for the Celtics when they won in 2008, I think that he showed a little bit more mettle in this situation.
And I think that's where, at the end of the day, I think this is where we talk about coaches who have decided, we're talking about it earlier in the Western Conference. You have coaches who are long in the tooth and have understanding, okay, this is what my guys can do, and I'm willing to ride on these guys, and they'll be able to deliver, like the New York Knicks. And then you got, on the off difference, you got JJ Redick with a struggling Lakers team that, that he can't rely on those guys, and he should have made more adjustments. Just a big difference. And I'm hoping Zula stays. You know what I mean? And they don't think it's just a Brad Stevens effect. We'll see moving forward for next year what that Celtics team is going to look like without a Jason Tatum for an entire year. But definitely,
I wonder what kind of outlook they're looking at right now in terms of their small forward power. Like, you know what I'm saying? That kind of position. Do you guys sign someone short term because JT will be coming back anyway after next year, like a 1 to 2 year contract, or do you go kind of get like a superstar?
I would rent KD for a year, trade Porzingis, maybe
Oh, that'd be kind of interesting. Get a rental.
Get a little rental. I'd trade Porzingis. Maybe I'd keep Brown. Obviously, I need him. You know what I mean? And maybe Jay Holiday. You know what I'm saying?
Like a Pritchard.
Now, I try to keep Pritchard.
I feel like this is a good thought. Like where we can talk about how can the teams.
Yeah, that'd be a cool talk.
This will be a great. When the season ends, I would love for us to do a deep dive into every team, but specifically our teams, like Lakers, Celtics, and we can talk about like the teams that go to the championship. You know what I mean?
Playoff teams, and their future of their organization, because there are players coming to free agency that we definitely should talk about.
Definitely need to talk about. Do we need to talk about game one? I know we're in the middle of it right now.
True. Is it still going on right now, right?
WCF,
what?
Western Conference Finals.
Thunder's up 91-77, guys.
Thunder having a good second half right now, but that's like I feel like when you play at home and the break, it'd be like this. When you play a 7-game series, game one, you got momentum still.
Yeah.
Whereas like a 5-game series, you'd be waiting like the 5, 6, 7 to 8. You know what I mean?
You're right.
So I feel like I would like to. This is how my thoughts on right now. I would like to end this off by telling y'all my predictions for conference finals.
Let's do it.
Let's get this money, baby.
That's what I'm feeling. So
let's get this money.
All right, we're gonna go for. I'm gonna start in the West with Oklahoma City and Minnesota, and I feel like I've been wavering on Oklahoma City, though I've been riding with Timberwolves since the beginning.
You're right.
But I think we're looking at the champions in the West. I think that's going to be the champion. I think this is my gut right now. I got Oklahoma City in 6.
Woo!
I got Oklahoma City. I think that SGA is going to get a.
I'm kind of feeling that. I'm kind of feeling that same thing. You know what I mean? And that doesn't even think about this first game. But like, even if I didn't see the score of this first game and just was just off the strength, especially after beating, the former MVP Nikola Jokic, I think I'm feeling, the Thunder in 6. I think.
Ooh.
I want to say 5. But I got to give respect to Ant. I don't know how battered he is, but I got to give respect to my boy. So I think the Thunder in 6, if it's a close 5 where they, they win a game by 2 and they win in 5, I wouldn't be surprised either.
I'm going to go opposite here. I'm going Timberwolves in 6.
Woo!
Anthony Edwards got eliminated last year in the same place where he is right now by Luka. So, compared to SGA got eliminated last year in round 2. So, for him, it's an upgrade. It's like, good job. And then for Anthony, he's going to get an upgrade to go to the finals. So, I'm going Wolves in 6. Let's go.
All right.
I love it.
All right.
YBK. And you're right, Camden. Even with this before this score, I could corroborate my coworker, Yon. I told him earlier, OKC in 6. I don't want to say it. I just feel like since they got past Denver, that's the type of vibes I'm feeling.
That's how I'm feeling too.
What about the rematch between Indiana and New York?
Listen.
How y'all feeling?
I'm listen. As much as I love my boy, YBK, you know what I mean? And I will be gracing the New York State, you know what I mean, in about a month or so. You know what I'm saying? I'm excited. I'm excited about that situation.
Yes.
However, if it ain't snowing, I'm not going. Tyrese Halliburton, let's freaking go, baby. Come on. I'm thinking it's going to be Indy in 6.
Wow.
It's going to be Indy in 6.
Damn. All right. Mikey, you want to go or should I go?
You kick it off. I'll end this, bro.
Come on, YBK.
All right, we know we going. After the Lakers got eliminated in the playoffs, guys, I rode the New York Knicks train. So I'm going New York Knicks in 6 here, too. I can't say gentlemen sweep because Pacers are a pretty good team. But I'm going Knicks in 6.
Last year, this series went 7 games. But we had all them, no Randall, and I think another injury on the Knicks, too. They was pretty depleted.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I got Indiana in 5. Tell the Knicks to suck my... I had to pull out a little New York for y'all. I had to pull out a little New York for y'all. Now,
I love it. I love it.
I respect the Knicks, but the way that I watch these games go, I feel like Indiana, if they did play like how they did versus Cleveland, sheesh. But this is what I'm gonna say. New York has the better. If we talking like 2K ratings and talent, brother.
2K.
The Knicks starting lineup is nasty,
bro. It's like Brunson, Bridges, what's his OG, Hart,
Josh
and
Hart,
then Cat.
Yeah, bro, it's filthy, but depth.
Yep.
Key factor in this.
They got who's that shooter? Oh, that guard McBride.
Yeah,
and they got Mitchell Robinson.
But they barely play them. They play them like 20
But he gets
minutes
some shots though. They get some shots when he needs
Mitchell
them.
Robinson better hit his free throws. That's what better be happening if they got a chance.
The big difference is what I'm trying to say is that the Pacers keep throwing them at you. Siakam, Aaron Nesmith, Miles Turner, Andrew Nembhard, Halliburton, Benedict Mathurin, bro. They got all these dudes. TJ McConnell, Obi Toppin, bro. They be throwing everyone in the lineup. And that's why they be running. They don't play small like a short lineup. They don't play a 6-7 man rotation like Thibs does. So I think we're gonna see what happens. The Knicks probably, if they win this series, are not gonna have juice if you keep playing 42 minutes and you have on your starters. That's just what I think. It's just what I think. But time will tell. I'm excited, y'all. I'm really excited. I'm actually excited. I'll say this high key because the Celtics is out right now. I can like watch basketball with peace of just enjoying basketball because it's been like how many years in a row I feel like I take it. It's like when the Pats was always going deep into playoffs and you're like, I can't even watch a football game without my heart rate being heart palpitations.
I feel that.
So this is gonna be an interesting one, y'all. I feel like
so basically in the final MSD Sports Finals, MJ, you got Pacers versus Thunder. Same for Camden, he got Pacers versus Thunder, and YBK got Knicks versus Wolves. I kind of like that because it's like
matchup.
It's like the trade. It's like the trade of who got the best trade of the season. You know what I mean? Like, is it you or me? We're in the last step.
That's a good script, bro.
Yeah.
That's the script. YBK just unlocked the script right quick.
I'm now back.
I would prefer Knicks versus Wolves, actually. Even though I said Pacers Thunder is what my prediction is, I would prefer Knicks Wolves. I think that would be fun.
Storyline would be interesting.
I think that would be fun. So, someone new is getting a ring.
I know.
Somebody know. Bling, bling, baby. Bling, bling.
It's like the new generation now. It's like, taking over basketball. And it feels like, for us, it's like, we grown up watching Bron, KD, Steph, and like now it's like, we have to get used to these new up and coming. So it's pretty cool to see, though.
Nope.
Yes.
Man, episode
feels good to be back, bro.
I know.
We back in the building. Took a little bit of hiatus. You know what I mean? A little vacation.
Hiatus.
I know we was in the middle of the NBA playoffs. We had to take a little second, but we're back, baby. We're back.
I know my Celtics took a step back with this injury and the way they exited this year, but episode number 32, shout out my boy Kevin McHale. Boston Celtics legend, war number 32.
Let him know.
Kevin McHale. Shout out Kevin McHale. Boston Celtics legend. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That was episode 32, guys. It's been a long time. It feels good to be back for sure. But let's get it. RCR Presents MSD Sports. That was episode